Hey, and welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk to you about how to know whether or not your hard drive is failing, when to replace it, how to replace it, and why you should replace it with an SSD drive. So that's what I'm going to get into in today's show. Stay tuned, give us a like, give us a share, and subscribe, and we're going to get into that right now. Well, how do you know when your mechanical hard drive is starting to fail? One of them, of course, is it starts making noise. The second thing is the boot time seems to take forever, or it intermittently crashes when it boots up. Or really, one of the reasons is it just seems the whole computer just seems slow. Or, and most importantly, when you notice that your Windows update, it just seems to take forever when it never did. Those are some of the telltale signs that you have the mechanical error happening in the drive. And this is the time when if you have a laptop and it's a couple of years old, you want to kind of speed that laptop, give it new life, so you can upgrade it to an SSD drive. So in part 2, I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you how step by step to upgrade that hard drive to an SSD and replace it. Let's get started. So some of the things you're going to be needing, of course, is a replacement hard drive, and in addition to that, either a hard drive reader or a hard drive cloner. I happen to use the one on the right. You can either clone the drive directly, or I can hook it up to the computer and use software to copy the hard drive before I replace it. So right now I'm going to get into how to replace that hard drive, step by step what you need to do. So let's get started. Don't forget to give us a like, share, and subscribe. Now, first thing you're going to have to discover is what hard drive you have in your computer. So you're going to go to Computer Management. You can put that on the search bar. Find out Disk Management, and your hard drive is going to open and tell you what hard drive you have. Now, you're going to right-click the screen where it has the description of the hard drive, contents, and partitions and such like that. And when you do, you're going to be able to connect and look at the properties. Once you do, you're going to know what kind of hard drive. In this case, I happen to have a WD hard drive, which now allows me to know that I can use this opportunity to continue to download an Acronos hard drive cloner for WD. Now, when you may notice that when you plug your replacement hard drive in, you'll get this screen, and that's okay. That simply tells you that it has not been formatted. You may not discover that you can't seem to do a format or anything on that. That is perfectly okay. What you're simply going to do is close out of Computer Management and reopen it. Once you do, you'll be able to get this done. And once you do that, okay, you're going to go back to it, allow it to discover it, then reopen Computer Management. Once you've done that, you'll be able to go back and again, you may, if it doesn't work, you simply go into the location of the hard drive, close it again, come back out. Sometimes the computer doesn't recognize the new hard drive and its settings. Don't be concerned and don't be worried. You've not done anything wrong. It's simply that Windows hasn't caught up with you yet. And even I make mistakes. And you can see now when I did it, it eventually came up and asked me, do I want to format the hard drive? It doesn't really matter at this point what you format it as, because the cloning software will make it a duplicate of the original. So we're going to format it. Once we have done that, we click OK. It'll format it. Okay, you're going to call it a new simple volume. Next. Now, whether you use the cloner device or you clone using the Acronos software, whichever brand of hardware you have, you're going to have to format the hard drive first. A lot of people buy the cloners and then get totally frustrated because it won't clone. And the reason is it needs to be formatted. Very simple, easy to do. Once you've formatted the drive, it's going to come up and say, okay, I'm all right, I'm ready to go, no problems. And you close out that. Now in this case, particular model, we're going to be using the Acronos for WD, which you can download on WD's site. If you had a Seagate, you would use the Seagate version or any other hard drive. Now, if you don't have a hard drive that's supported by the Acronos for free, you'll have to buy it, or you can use the cloner. Now, obviously, I'm loading it up. Now, I have speeded this up for the purposes of this video. It would take forever. You click on the clone disk, it's going to come up. Automatic duplication. And you can see it is noted that my primary hard drive is my WD. Right? Now, when you click on the WD or whatever hard drive you're cloning, it's going to do a scan of it to detect how much hard drive information is on there, where it's located, and store that in memory. And that will take up to 4 or 5 minutes. Now, obviously, I've clipped that out to make this faster and easier for this video, otherwise we'd be sitting here forever. I had 2 choices. I could speed it up, or I just simply cut out the section. It's going to come up shortly, and once it does, you're going to click on the next and continue on with selecting your destination disk. There it is. We select our destination disk. In this case, I'm using a Team SSD. You know what? A lot of companies, people that use WD, Seagate, I found the Team ones. Team makes a lot of memory products. And you know what? They also make a version of a SSD drive. Now, while it's not as fast as the WD or the Seagate, it's still very fast. It's excellent. It comes with a 3-year warranty. And it's about half the price of the other hard drive. So it's something to consider when you're trying to save a few bucks. Again, the same thing like I said. It's going to take a few minutes. After, it will then read the original hard drive, and then you'll be able to replace and decide. Now, in this case, I'm replacing the disk with on the same machine. I'm going to click next, and it's going to run its image, and you shall proceed. When it completes, it'll say hard drive is cloned. You power down the machine, take your clone out of the duplicator or hard drive reader, and proceed. Now, the next part of this, I'm going to show you how to install it in a HP laptop. So, not very hard to do. It just is everything you do in this process is just that you have to take your time and not worry about it. And as you can see now, it's telling me I'm copying the time, and I let it do its cloning. It said I'm finished. I shut it down, and we're on to the next stage. Now, this is an HP laptop. You may have a different brand, but basically the process is basically the same. The most important thing is to remove power and the battery. And you just basically remove all the screws on the bottom of the machine. Now, doing that, you will notice that there is one screw that is holding on the CD-ROM if your laptop still has one. A lot of laptops are eliminating the CD drive, CD-ROM. When you have taken out all the screws that you can visualize, pop out the drive. And it may be stubborn. It may take a couple tries. In this case, I had to use a tool, non-marring tool, to get the CD-ROM out of the drive. It's just slides out of the machine. It's not hard at all. And you can see it comes out. Now, a lot of laptop manufacturers like to hide other screws. That's why I told you to take the CD-ROM out. A lot of times there's 3 screws under the CD-ROM drive that hold the case on. The other thing that I noticed that a lot of laptop manufacturers do is under the feet is where the screws are. So you can see I popped the cover off, and I put I peeled back the various feet, and there were screws underneath it. It was 4 of them. I took them out. Pay attention to the length of the screws. A lot of laptop manufacturers use the same type of screws. This HP, they're all the same. But if you're doing something like an Apple laptop, you'll notice that every single screw is different. Let me tell you, Apple likes to make it so that you can't repair your own laptop. Now, once you've taken off the screws, very carefully pop off the cover. As you can see, here's where the RAM is. That's where you would add additional RAMs. And here's my original hard drive, which I'm going to be popping out. In this case, there's only a screw holding the actual hard drive out. I popped that screw out. Again, put the screws in a safe place. They're all different sizes. Pop your original drive out. You'll lift it straight up out of the machine. As you lift it up, you'll pull it out of its slot. And don't just take your time. Now, while you're doing all of this, you'll take it out. It's probably mounted in some type of bracket, as this one was. I took it apart, took the two screws that held it onto the hard drive, popped the new hard drive on. Very simple. And then I just reversed the process, popped it in place, and put the one screw that was holding it in place. Once you've done that, if you notice on the left-hand side of this laptop, that's where all of your USB drive plugs and connectors are. That is the side where you're going to put your back cover on first, because that is where all the holes are, and if you use that as a guide in popping the cover on, it's not going to be that hard. And as you can see, I'm popping it in, slides it in place, pop it, and once you get it correctly in position, snap it in place, give it a little tap so that the snap locks lock in place. Put back your screws. Now on the feet, if the feet refuse to stick after you pull them off, use a little bit of double-sided sticky tape or hot glue gun. It doesn't matter. It's basically going to do that. Once you put the laptop back together, put back your battery, lock it in place, or as you can see in this particular case, the slide locks weren't in place. So just to give you a quick review on this, basically you'll know when your hard drive is failing is when it begins to make clicking sounds, when the boot time seems to take forever, but also at the same time you'll notice that when you're doing a Windows update, it takes forever. Now, even when you test the hard drive using maybe your laptop's diagnostics, it will still pass. But what happens is, as the hard drive begins to fail, it starts to get a lot of read errors, because it's like a record player. And as it gets those read errors, increase the time to read those information begins to get longer and longer until the hard drive eventually fails. And like I said, I replaced this 1 terabyte drive with a Team hard drive for less than $34. It wasn't that much. It'll take you a little time to do it. Okay, so don't be worried, and just take your time. If you have to go and review this video, go ahead. And again, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And we'll be back with you on the next video. Check out my other videos on how to do something. Check out the other product reviews. And until next time, this is Casey Grandpa Tech out.